Welcome to Astrocompass podcast number 6, where we're looking at Mercury.
Yeah, welcome back to Astrocompass. Today we're tackling the fastest planet in our solar system, and if you blink, you might miss it. Mercury doesn't hang about. It moves quickly around the sun in just 88 days, and honestly, that tells you everything you need to know about its energy. Quick, curious, constantly moving with an erratic orbit. It governs the signs of Gemini and Virgo. But of course, we all have a Mercury placing, signed house and aspects.
Yep. And if you've ever had a thought interrupt another thought and then sparked 3 more thoughts before you've even finished your first cup of tea, congratulations, you've just met Mercury. This amazing planet rules the mind. It rules connection, communication, language, learning, the brain, and every message that passes between human beings.
Yeah.
It's also intimately connected to something we rarely think about until it's all we can think about, your breath. Now you're all thinking about your breath, aren't you? I am.
Today we're not going through Mercury in every sign. We'd be here all day, and Mercury would actually get bored. Instead, we're diving into the essence of this planet, what it governs, why it matters, and the extraordinary connection between Mercury, your first breath, and the chemistry of your brain.
Interesting stuff. And in Roman mythology, Mercury was the messenger of the gods, depicted with winged sandals and a winged helmet, flying between realms, carrying divine communication. He's the Greek Hermes, and he's the only god who could travel freely between Olympus, Earth, and the underworld.
Wow.
Think about that. Mercury crosses boundaries that nobody else can.
Exactly, and that's why Hermes, there's a postal service named
called
after him.
Hermes, yeah.
But he wasn't just a divine postman. He was cunning, clever, and a bit of a trickster. On the day he was born, literally as a newborn, he snuck out of his cradle, stole Apollo's sacred cattle, invented the lyre out of a tortoise shell, and then talked his way out of trouble so charmingly that Apollo ended up giving him the cattle as a gift.
Cheeky, huh? And that's pure Mercury energy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Inventive, persuasive, quick-witted, and able to turn any situation to advantage through, sheer mental agility. He's the archetype of the salesman, the writer, the negotiator, the comedian. I guess anybody who lives by their wits and their words.
Yeah, can also be gift of the gab, talking your way out of a situation.
Yeah,
we've all met people like that, potentially.
Yeah. Yes, we have.
So Hermes was also the psychopomp, the guide of souls to the underworld. Again, he moves between realms, and that's significant for Mercury's astrological meaning. This planet connects things, ideas to words, people to people, the conscious mind to its deeper layers. Mercury is the ultimate translator, and actually people with a strong Mercury can be quite adept at languages.
Yeah, definitely. And Rob, my husband, has Mercury retrograde, and we'll talk about that in a little while. And he really struggles with languages. He's technically brilliant, but he struggles with languages.
Yeah. Luckily,
he's mastered English, which is good. So here's something really profound that a lot of astrologers don't talk about. Your birth chart is cast for the moment of your first breath. Not conception, not when you emerge from the womb, but when you drew air into your lungs for the very first time. That breath is the moment your soul fully arrives. It's the moment you become separate, autonomous, and alive in your own right.
And breath is Mercury's domain. The lungs, the respiratory system, the act of drawing air in and expelling it. This is Mercury. Every word you speak rides on your breath. Every thought requires oxygen to the brain. Without Mercury, without breath, there is no communication within the world.
And in many spiritual traditions, breath is synonymous with spirit. The Latin spiritus means both breath and spirit. So when a baby takes that first breath, they're not just filling their lungs, they're claiming their chart, their destiny, their unique mental and communicative blueprint. Mercury is the planet of that moment of arrival.
Yeah, and this is why breath work can be so transformative. When you consciously work with your breath, you're working with Mercury, clearing mental patterns, changing your nervous system state, literally shifting how your brain processes information. The breath is the bridge between body and mind, and Mercury rules that bridge.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
And what else is fascinating is the fact that it connects directly to what we've just said about the first breath. When a baby takes that first breath, something extraordinary happens in the brain. The sudden shift from the fluid environment of the womb to breathing air and oxygen triggers a whole cascade of neurochemical changes. It's like the brain switchboard has lit up for the first time. And this, of course, begins to shape the personality, our innate responses to our environment.
How we relate to it. So the surge of oxygen, the stress hormones from birth, and the sudden sensory input, all of this shapes the initial neurochemical environment of the brain. And here's the astrological piece. The planetary positions at that exact moment appear to correlate with how these neurotransmitter systems are calibrated. Very Mercury of me.
Fun with my words today. Ask me the Mercury.
The first breath doesn't just claim your chart, it sets your neurochemical template.
Yeah, I mean, if we think of it like tuning an instrument, the strings are all there, but the exact tension, the precise tuning happens in that first moment of breath. Mercury's position, its aspects to other planets, the signs it occupies or the sign it occupies, all of this seems to influence how the brain's communication systems are initially calibrated.
Yeah.
Your baseline for dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, acetylcholine, these appear to be set in concert with that first inhalation of breath, which is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can tell a lot about someone from their Mercury, not just how they speak and those surface level sort of traits, communication. And
it's how they connect on so many levels, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is why twins born even minutes apart can have noticeably different temperaments and thinking styles. So those few minutes can shift Mercury's degree, change an aspect, or alter the rising sign. And with it, the neurochemical calibration. I can't say that.
What, neurochemical calibration?
The first breath is the moment the cosmic imprint meets the biological brain.
Yeah, and it's not just poetic metaphor. Research into chronobiology, the study of how biological rhythms interact with time, increasingly suggests that the conditions of birth have lasting effects on the nervous system function. Well, we kind of know that. Astrology has been saying this for thousands of years, and science is just catching up, I think, using different language.
Yeah, definitely. So let's look at how this plays out with specific neurotransmitters, because understanding your Mercury is really about understanding your brain's native language.
So, for example, Yvie, your Mercury, a Mercury with lots of fire energy in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or even a strong Mars or Jupiter aspect might correlate with higher baseline dopamine. That's the neurotransmitter of anticipation, novelty seeking, and the thrill of the new idea.
Yeah.
These minds, and yours certainly does, craves mental stimulation.
Not institution.
They get bored easily because their dopamine system is calibrated for variety.
Yeah, exactly. So Mercury with strong water influence, so Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, might relate more to serotonin patterns, deeper emotional processing, intuitive thinking, moods that may affect or influence their cognition. These minds feel their way to understanding rather than purely thinking their way there.
Yeah. And Mercury in Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, with Saturn aspects, might indicate a brain with more acetylcholine dominance, better sustained attention, stronger memory consolidation, methodical thinking. These people don't need constant novelty. In fact, they find that quite stressful.
Yeah.
They like to build knowledge systematically and remember what they learn.
Yeah, and the stress response neurotransmitters are fascinating too. So Mercury-Uranus aspects, possibly high adrenaline baseline, alert, quick reacting, brilliant under pressure, but potentially anxious when things are too calm. I know a few people like that actually need that stimulus, on a daily level, that variety, or they can struggle to sit with their feelings, I think.
Yeah, and I think they can fall into two camps. They can be incredibly restless and seeking new experiences, but actually can be quite easily overwhelmed by overstimulation because they're actually quite sensitive to that stimulation too.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So Mercury and Neptune, perhaps more GABA, this may have a stronger influence on them and their GABA levels. So dreamy, imaginative, creatively fluid, but sometimes foggy or disassociative when overwhelmed.
Now, I guess you have to remember it's not deterministic, is it? The first breath sets a template, not a prison sentence. Neuroplasticity is real. Brains change throughout our lives, but understanding your Mercury can help you work with your brain rather than against it. If your Mercury suggests you're wired for high stimulation, don't force yourself into monotonous routines and wonder why you're climbing the walls.
And if your Mercury indicates sensitivity to overwhelm, strong Neptune aspects perhaps, or a 12th house placement as Neptune covers the 12th house, build in more quiet processing time. Your neurochemistry at first breath gave you a particular kind of mind, so it's good to honour it rather than fighting against what's natural.
Play on your strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's map Mercury's territory. First and foremost, communication. How you speak, write, text, gesture, express ideas, your vocabulary, your verbal timing, whether you're succinct or elaborate, whether you think before you speak or discover what you think by speaking it. So that's quite interesting because we both have Mercury in Sagittarius, don't we?
Yeah.
My Mercury is part of a grand trine, which means that I'm quite active mentally. But I also have a square to Saturn, which anchors it a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. It grounds you, doesn't it?
And your Mercury Virgo connection gives you that need for precision, doesn't it?
But my Mercury's in the 4th house, so I do relate to that water sign, to that, feeling things, strongly, not always about being logical. I definitely have that balance between the two, I think, which is a strength.
Yes, I think it is, yeah. And I think without my square to my Mercury with just the fire grand trine, I might just...
Up in the air, yeah.
I also might not be that truthful, because I wouldn't have that kind of sense of responsibility. I might just wing it. Whereas I don't tend to wing it. Saturn sits on my shoulder going, you can't say that. No, that's not the way to learn that. So it kind of is that karmic task.
Very deep morality as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So learning and information processing, how you take in data, organize it, retrieve it. Some people learn by reading, others by listening, and others by doing. That's Mercury at work. Students struggling in traditional education often have a Mercury that simply learns differently, not worse. And I do relate to that with having a fire sign Mercury. Yeah. I do like to learn. I like practical, tangible, quite colourful learning. So if I use colours and textures, there, definitely it helps me engage more.
You've got a heavy 5th house as well, which is getting into other realms. But no, definitely. I spent most of my school life dreaming because I found the world of imagination so much more interesting than reality.
Appealing, yeah.
So what else does Mercury govern? Short journeys, daily movement, your commute, local travel, the errands that fill your days. Mercury rules the car that gets you there and the phone that keeps you connected. Every email, every text message, every conversation over the garden fence, that's Mercury as well.
Yeah, so siblings, neighbours and your immediate environment, the people you interact with daily, the casual relationships that shape your everyday experience. And I mean, actually, my Mercury is in the 4th house, which is ruled by the mother, and we speak every day. It's quite interesting.
I'm glad we don't make podcasts out of all our conversations, because they can be slightly odd.
Yeah, alternative.
Interesting.
So Mercury is community in the most local sense.
Yes, definitely. And the hands. Mercury rules dexterity, doesn't it? Coordination, the ability to translate mental intention into precise physical movement. Writers, surgeons, craftspeople, musicians, anyone whose work requires fine motor skills is working closely with Mercury.
So commerce and trade. Hermes was the god of merchants as well as messengers. So buying, selling, negotiating, making deals. The whole dance of exchange that keeps society functioning. Mercury is the marketplace, literal and metaphorical.
Now here's where Mercury takes us somewhere profound. Ancient cultures understood that modern science is only just beginning to explore that words and thoughts aren't just passive descriptors of reality, they actively shape it.
So think about it. In virtually every creation myth, the world begins with a word. In the beginning was the word, let there be light. There's also speak of creation. We can create things through the power of naming, of articulating something into being. It runs through every spiritual tradition. This isn't primitive superstition. It's pointing at something real about the relationship between consciousness and reality. Yeah.
And quantum physics, as you know, is one of my favourite areas to study, has given us a really fascinating framework for understanding this. The observer effect, which I think about a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that the act of observation appears to influence how particles behave.
Schrodinger's cat.
And the double slit experiment and the collapse of the wave function. So it suggests that consciousness isn't separate from physicality, it's participatory. Mind isn't just watching reality, it's in dialogue with it.
We're speaking our reality into being.
I find that quite mind-blowing, actually.
Yeah. So we're not saying you can think yourself a Ferrari, which obviously would be nice. But the science around how thought patterns affect neural pathways, how language shapes perception, how focused attention changes brain structure. I mean, physically, it's been shown. It's well documented. And your thoughts literally can rewire your brain. The words you choose to use to yourself and others create neural grooves that become your default way of processing reality. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. And I think if I have a thought, which is not a wholly positive thought, I realise that if I keep repeating that thought, it's almost like it digs the groove deeper. So I have to get out of it and change it so that another neural pathway is created and that's a stronger one. So
and that takes work, because it's actually easier and more comfortable for the brain to follow a familiar pathway than make a new one.
Oh, it's always easier to drop down than climb out.
Yeah, so we have to, it's daily practice, I think, if we're working on our Mercuries and our positive speech and our inner voice.
Yeah, and how we think and how we speak about others and how we speak to us. Everything, it's huge. This network is quite remarkable, really, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah.
So this is kind of Mercury's deepest gift and responsibility.
Yeah.
The thoughts you think repeatedly become beliefs. And the true beliefs become filters through which you perceive everything. And those perceptions shape your choices. And the choices create your life. It's not magic.
No.
Is it? It's not some bizarre woo-woo kind of thing.
No, it makes sense.
Mechanism. But understanding that mechanism gives us all, I think, extraordinary power. I always say that today's magic is tomorrow's science. There's so much that we don't understand, and we may term it as magic now, but actually it will be found to be have some kind of scientific premise or paradigm.
So the written word carries particular potency. When you write something down, you're taking a thought from the formless realm of mind and giving it physical existence. So journaling, goal setting, even making lists. These aren't just organizational tools, they're acts of crystallization. You're using Mercury to move an idea from potential into form.
Yeah. And the spoken word vibrates, doesn't it?
Yeah, literally.
Sound is vibration, and when you speak, you're sending waves of energy into the world. The words you say to yourself matter enormously. Your nervous system is listening. Your subconscious is recording. Your cells are responding.
Yeah.
This isn't mysticism. It's biology meeting physics, isn't it?
Yeah. So when we talk about manifestation, and yes, that word has definitely been overused, what we're really talking about is conscious participation in how reality unfolds. Your Mercury is your instrument for that participation. The quality of your thoughts and the precision of your words, the clarity of how you communicate, these aren't just personal attributes, they're creative forces, really. It's kind of,
we've taken the word manifestation and it's being thrown around and bandied around, but actually what it should in my mind be is manifestation with responsibility, with an understanding. To create something, we have to move from thought to action.
And it's about repetition a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think,
you do the old networks, the old neural networks.
Yeah, like I said before. Because I've actually done that myself through different parts of my life. I've taken consciously focus on certain types of thoughts, certain energy of thoughts, frequency, and practice them daily. And I've written them and I've set reminders on my phone to practice. And eventually it has become part of who I am.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I was just thinking about the fact that when I write books, the characters become so real. Part of me really believes that they exist.
Yeah,
so it's
they take on form.
This mental being, as in a mentally orientated or manifested being.
Yeah.
So they become real to me.
Because you've given it your energy,
Yeah. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Your thoughts don't exist in isolation.
No.
Every mind is part of a vast network, what Jung called the collective unconscious, what physicists might describe as the field of information. So Mercury doesn't just connect us or you to other people through words, it connects us to the web of human consciousness itself.
Yeah.
So we're all one, essentially.
Yeah,
aren't we?
We're all from the same source. A lot of different cultures believe.
Yeah.
So if we think about how ideas seem to emerge simultaneously across the globe, inventions, artistic movements, scientific breakthroughs, spiritual paradigms happening independently in different places at the same time, it's as if consciousness has tides, and certain thoughts become available to anyone tuned into that frequency. So Mercury is your receiver and your transmitter in that collective field.
There's something about having choice there, isn't there? Conscious choice.
Yeah.
And that's why mass thought matters. When millions of people think the same thing, whether it's fear, hope, outrage, or inspiration, it creates a kind of atmospheric pressure in consciousness. And I always think about the power of prayer.
Yeah.
And we feel it, even if we can't name it. That background hum of collective thinking influences our individual minds more than we realize. We're not separate creatures having isolated thoughts. We're nodes in a network, constantly sending and receiving, which is why I think it's so important to be discerning when reading and looking at media publications, because sometimes they, whether it's conscious or deliberate or not, can bring out a sense of worry and fear. And if we put that into the atmosphere, that impacts all of us, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking another example is nobody can deny when you walk into a church, the feeling within a church that impacts us all, that we resonate with.
Yeah.
And you think about the prayer and the thoughts and the energy that lifts you there is because of, I believe, of group prayer and community connection in that sense.
Yeah, and equally, if you walk into somewhere that has had a very difficult history, you can feel that heaviness, can't you? The kind of fractures in the atmosphere, the sense of there's discord.
Yeah, absolutely. So research into phenomena like the 100th monkey effect. Also, research like Princeton's Global Consciousness Project has found that when millions of people focus on the same event, it appears to create measurable effects, as if collective attention has a kind of physical weight, as I was saying about the church atmosphere.
Yeah.
So whether you call it shared consciousness or simply the power of focused minds, the implication is fascinating. We seem to be connected at a level science is only beginning to understand. When enough minds focus on the same thing, measurable effects appear. Whether you call it morphic resonance, collective consciousness, or simply the power of shared attention, the implication is the same. We are connected at the level of mind, aren't we, really?
Amazing, isn't it? And that brings a sense of real responsibility.
Mercury square Saturn.
That's me.
Hello.
If your words and thoughts have power, and they do, then how you use Mercury matters. The gossip you engage in, the stories you tell yourself about yourself or others, the internal dialogue you run on repeat and repeat, and we all do that. All of that is shaping your experience and rippling out into the collective. Every thought you think is a vote for the kind of world you're creating, which is very powerful.
There's a lot of power, a lot of responsibility. Yeah. So Mercury asks us to be conscious communicators, not just competent ones, or falling to your baseline level where it's, unconscious.
You can be articulate, but it doesn't mean you're authentic.
No, absolutely, yeah. To recognise that we're not just thinking for ourselves, we're actually contributing to a shared field of consciousness that affects everyone. The quality of your inner dialogue isn't just personal development, it's actually a form of service you can give back to the collective.
Bringing that positive energy up.
Yeah, and you can actively raise the frequency of the earth with your thoughts, with your words.
I find it fascinating, even just talking here.
I know, me too. I could talk about it forever.
We could.
We do, usually.
So, we can't talk about Mercury, Yvie, without addressing the elephant in the retrograde room. 4 times a year, Mercury appears to move backwards in the sky for about 3 weeks. It's an optical illusion. Mercury isn't reversing, but astrologically the effects are very real. And you're often reminding me when Mercury's retrograde.
Oh, I do.
Things haven't
when something's broken or late post.
Things aren't signed.
Somebody isn't replying.
Are taking ages. Yep, it's all Mercury, isn't it?
It's not actually the cosmic catastrophe social media would have you believe. Yes,
that's very true.
Yeah, because your life can't stop. I mean, this is quite a common occurrence per year. You can't stop everything during a Mercury retrograde, but you just need to be realistic, read the small print, and be sensible in your decisions. And miscommunications happen. Technology glitches and emails will go to spam, and you may run into exes and travel plans. Can go sideways. Yeah. But Mercury retrograde isn't here to ruin your life. It's actually asking you to slow down, review, and reconsider. Yeah,
it's not that when Mercury is direct, we build and build, and then Mercury's retrograde and everything gets destroyed.
Backwards, yeah.
It's not that we start again. It doesn't work like that. It's basically a time of contemplation, isn't it, to review and think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can't. So the rewords are your guide during retrograde. Reflect, revise, reconnect, repair, reconsider, research. I mean, it's brilliant for revisiting old projects and reconnecting with old contacts or finding information you've missed the first time. And that's really important, especially, I don't know about you, with Mercury and Sagittarius. I can read very quickly, but I can spin through it. And sometimes it's a really good idea to go back and look again and go, I missed that bit.
That deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Because that fire, when we have Mercury in a fire sign, everything's so exciting and you really want to take it all in and you get quite inspired by it. Yeah. But sometimes that can mean we're prone to missing the small details, the fine print.
But with my Saturn squaring my Mercury in your Virgo ascendant, actually we tend to naturally check things. However, it doesn't mean when Mercury's retrograde that we can't benefit from it.
I agree, but I think I disagree personally because my Mercury in Sagittarius squares Jupiter, which is even more fire. So I definitely can miss it. So when I go back, I'm very detailed. But once I get excited about something, I'm definitely just wanting to jump in. So I need that time to go back and check.
Yeah. But I suppose we have to accept it's less ideal for kind of signing new contracts or launching new initiatives. It's the time to plan them and create a framework for them, but not launching them. It's not impossible at any time, but just requiring a bit of extra care.
And here's the thing, roughly 20% of people are born during Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
So if that's you, retrograde periods might actually feel more natural to you. I've actually noticed that with some friends and family members. They do seem quite comfortable and actually more at ease during a retrograde.
Well, they're in their place, aren't they? They're in their familiar space.
Yeah. So your Mercury already works in that reflective, inward-focused way if you're a Mercury retrograde person. Yeah. And during retrograde, you're in your element whilst everyone else is fumbling around. So
they can take the lead during that time.
Yeah.
So how do we honour Mercury in our daily life? First, respect your nervous system. Mercury rules how you process stimulation. And in our absolutely hyper-connected world, most of us are massively overstimulated. Digital detoxes, quiet time, activities that calm the mind. These are Mercury care, and I think that's so, especially Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's mind is spinning. The traffic, the people, the talking, the cards, the messages, the reconnections. It is very possible. A lot of people are feeling quite overwhelmed right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's Boxing Day. I'm hoping everybody is out there relaxing a little bit.
So feed your curiosity. Mercury thrives on learning, not necessarily formal education, but genuine interest in how things work. Go with what works for you. Read widely, ask questions, stay curious about the world and the people in it. A bored Mercury is a restless, anxious Mercury, and that can actually build in some people as anxiety, as paranoia, as hypochondria. So for those people who resonate with that, it is very important you find a channel for your Mercury to use that excess energy so it doesn't build within you and then explode at some point.
There's something about that balance, isn't there, between being overstimulated and hyper busy or bored and restless. There's something about...
It's a constant daily battle, to find that balance for a lot of people, I think.
I think generally to find a balance in life, especially in today's world, is a real challenge, isn't it? So working with your breath consciously, I think that can really help, can't it? Breath work, singing, speaking aloud, or even just noticing your breathing patterns. All of these strengthen your Mercury function, and your breath is your direct line to your nervous system state. So I'm guessing it must have some connection with the vagus nerve. Mercury.
I was just thinking that singing obviously really helps stimulate your vagus nerve, so that may be a very good practice for people who are prone to anxiety or hypochondria to calm their nervous system and reconnect with their Mercury.
Yeah, definitely.
So also, like using your hands, writing by hand. I mean, a lot of people just type now, which is quite scary.
Yeah, I think I can no longer write. I've typed that much over the years. I'm no longer capable of writing anymore and handwriting.
I've started writing more by hand, but I must admit at the beginning it felt a bit strange, which it's a terrible realization because, we should be able to write with our hands. So I've started doing it more.
Definitely.
Crafts, playing instruments, cooking, anything that engages your fine motor skills will activate Mercury. There's a reason people think better when doodling.
Yes, because their brain is working on a different level, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting with regards to musical instruments, because it balances the left and right hemispheres of the brain, because you're using both hands, it can help the development of the brain. There's something called the corpus callosum, which is the bridge between the two hemispheres of the brain. So that can be really helpful, especially for young people. Communicating consciously. Mercury isn't just about information exchange, it's about connection. Listen as much as you speak. Choose words with care. Remember that every conversation is a chance to honour this remarkable planet's gift.
So if you'd like to understand your Mercury, its sign, house and aspects, we'd love to explore it with you. Your Mercury shows how your unique mind works, and understanding that can be genuinely life-changing.
Yeah, because Mercury, I think we can both agree, is often underestimated because it's associated with small things, thoughts, words, everyday exchanges, but those small things are the fabric of human experience.
Yeah, they are.
Every relationship we have is built on communication and connection. Every idea that changed the world started as a thought. Every breath you take keeps you alive and connected to this moment.
Mercury reminds us also that the mind is a gift, endlessly creative, capable of learning and growing throughout life. Your particular Mercury, with all its quirks and gifts, is how you participate in the great conversation of existence.
That's interesting, as I was just thinking about intelligence and how we tend to measure intelligence through our school years, don't we? But as we get older, I don't know about you, but I find that people have many different kinds of intelligences, don't they? Their brains work many different ways, and none is better than the other. And I often speak to clients who haven't done particularly well at school, but they have incredible mental energy and power and ability to communicate that wasn't acknowledged during those younger years.
Exactly, or perhaps, intuitive intelligence I found. As I've got older, I've noticed I can feel things out, sometimes more than I can figure them out logically. And that is an intelligence in itself.
I do that with numbers and maths. And my husband can't understand it, so I call it my useful imagination. He'll ask me about a budget or something, and I'll give him the figure, and then he'll do a spreadsheet, and it'll be the same thing. It's just intuitive numbers.
Yeah, intuition.
So I guess we need to honour our minds, honour words, and honour the first breath you took, the moment Mercury claimed you for this remarkable, talkative, endlessly curious human experience.
Yeah, exactly. So, join us next time as we continue exploring the planets. Venus on the 9th of January 2026. Thank you for listening, and true to Mercury form, we hope this episode gave your mind something delicious to chew on.
Until then, keep thinking, keep talking, keep breathing, and remember that every word you speak is a little bit of magic. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.